Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Siler. I'm here with Zernak. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play a competitive five-match Modern League together. And basically, the mode will be that I'll be playing, explaining my play choices and so forth, and he'll be offering commentary and critique, and we'll discuss salient points together.
Discuss plays and where we differ, and that's probably going to be where we get the most interesting conversations.
Yeah. I mean, I've prepared a few talking points for myself, I suppose, and we'll just see
Cool.
what happens.
Oh, do you see the Google Hangouts is sharing your screen with Hangouts? If you hit hide, yeah, there you go.
All
Perfect.
right, all right. Lost the die roll, never a great thing. So let's look at this hand. So this hand is extremely average.
Yep.
It'd be fine if it was on the play. Um, I really hate hands that have several two drops. On the other hand, though, this hand has colored mana, it has two man lands, and it has a steel overseer. So I think there's no way I would ever mulligan this in the dark.
Yeah, honestly, I would just go as far as to look at it and say, this hand is functional, I'm going to keep it. I
Yep.
basically don't mulligan hands that aren't functional, except for ones that are completely air and have no threats, and this is definitely not that. And you're playing against Lantern, so good luck.
All right. So right off, we have what is probably the worst matchup for Affinity.
Yeah, I think I don't even think there's a probably. It's actually just the worst matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is that in addition to 3 or 4 ensnaring bridges, they also have 4 Whir of Invention main deck, and Affinity cannot beat that card in game. Whereas at least something like 2% to beat it game one, if that.
Yeah. Not only
Yeah,
that, your opponent had an insane start. Like turn
yeah,
one, Lantern and Shredder. Jeez.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think just in terms of lands, because I do think that sequencing lands is a major part of playing Affinity. Even though we have 4 2 drops in our hand, so it
Yep.
doesn't really matter what we play. But just there's no reason to play the Spire. There will be spots, maybe someone comes up where it's better to lead with Inkmoth Nexus rather than Blinkmoth Nexus. But in general,
Yeah.
in this spot, I would just lead with Blinkmoth Nexus.
On yeah, leading with Blinkmoth Nexus is fine, but honestly, at this point in time, it doesn't matter because you can see what you're
Yeah,
about to
yeah,
draw. There's no cards that can come up that will change your opinion of like next
exactly.
turn I will be
Yeah.
playing a 2 drop. There's no world where
Yeah.
next turn you will not play a 2 drop, so it doesn't really matter. I
Yeah,
have seen the
I
biggest
guess.
reason to play one or another is if you want to not have summoning sickness on one versus the other. But
Mm.
fortunately, it doesn't seem like your opponent has ensnaring bridge yet. Unfortunately, you drew an etched. Um, all right, what's the fastest way to kill your opponent?
Well, first of all, I think there is no point in playing a Ravager right now. Maybe let's think about that. From once we play Ravager, it's gonna get killed immediately, and then we can follow up with another or Overseer, sorry, and then we can follow up with another Overseer on turn 3. As for your question, the fastest way to win is to stack up a Nexus to a 5/5. That's
Yep.
for sure.
So I think to
Yeah.
do that, what we're gonna want to do is get a Steel Overseer resolved and use it to put counters on a Ravager.
Mhm.
So
True.
lead on Overseer, I think.
Okay. Do you see any difference between attacking and not attacking first here? Not really, right?
Uh,
I mean,
there's no
he's not
functional
gonna.
difference. He's not gonna kill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think people that look for the difference between like attacking and not attacking with their Memnites before they cast spells like Steel Overseer in this kind of position, they're focusing on the wrong aspects of their game to try to get edges. They're trying to get very, very marginal advantages over their opponent in a lot of situations, because if you think about how your opponent's thinking, there is no world in which they blast your signal pest. It will never, ever happen. I will never sit across from an Affinity player and blast a Memnite with my Spell Bomb on turn 1 or 2. So if you think from your opponent's perspective, like, what kind of things are they thinking about, you can really narrow down the amount of lines that you need, the amount of effort you need to do in trying to bluff them. Anyways, go ahead and play the Steel Overseer and pass the turn so that we don't take forever. Because we've already used 4 minutes of clock.
Yeah, just a couple of real quick remarks. The thing with Affinity is, as opposed to especially limited play and other constructed play, is that oftentimes you will want to play your creatures first. There's a variety of reasons for that, which I'm sure we'll get into. And the other thing, this is a really subtle thing, and I'm sure most people are doing this anyway. Whenever you cast a spell in Affinity, you really want to make sure you click the card first and not add the mana to your pool and then cast the card, because what will happen some of the times that you'll activate your manlands, given that you'll have manlands at play almost all of the time, and you really don't want to do that. Was that clear, what I meant by that?
Oh yes, it was very clear, although I've got to say I've never actually I've never tried casting spells in Affinity by tapping my lands first. Alright, scoop?
Yeah.
Sort of over.
Yeah,
I mean, we can play out the next, like, 2 turns or something, but he's going to cast an Ensnaring Bridge, and then we lose.
Yes. Also, we have no 0 power creature, we have no Cranial Plating, and we don't have a second black mana. So there's... Yeah, so for those reasons...
This is just over.
Yeah.
Lantern.
Right.
The number 1 deck I do not want to see. All right.
So we definitely want to add Thoughtseize. We want to add Ancient Grudge, and we want to add Girpur Aethergrid.
I want to add in 3 Blood Moons.
Really, you add 3 Blood Moons here? Interesting. Okay.
Against the Whir version, yeah, Blood Moon's really good, because Whir costs triple blue. If you resolve a Blood Moon, they pretty much can't cast Whir of Invention, which not only means they can't fetch out their bridge, they also can't actually get the Whir out of their hands. So if they draw and cast a bridge, they still have a Whir stuck in hand, and then you can get in with 1 power creatures as well, because they have a Whir stuck uselessly in their hand.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Remove the Etch Champions, they're garbage.
Yeah.
Alright, so... you could take out the Galvanic Blasts, I think. We need to cut 3 more cards. I don't think you want to cut any of the 2 drops. I could see cutting some Vault Scourges.
Yeah, I was thinking that, the life gain doesn't matter.
They're 1 mana 1/1s. That's literally all of their text. The flying and lifelink and Phyrexian mana doesn't matter in any way. So the question is a 1 mana 1/1 artifact creature better than, I think, Girpur Aethergrid, which is the card I like the least in this matchup? The reason I dislike Girpur Aethergrid is it provides some amount of reach, but you're not really going to be able to grind your opponent out that well with it, because they can dig towards a Pithing Needle and Pithing Needle it, or remove it. Like, it doesn't provide an enormous clock, and so because it doesn't threaten to kill them that quickly, they have enough time to find what they need to deal with it. I mean, that said, it does, like, if you got most of the way there, it might be able to give you enough time to... Alright, I'd cut 2 Vault Scourges and
a grid.
And a grid, maybe?
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, let's do that.
Alright, we'll see how this goes. It's been a while since I played against Lantern, but...
Yeah, same here.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's really good. We unfortunately cannot actually cast a 2-drop on turn 1.
Yeah.
But still good.
You will never mulligan this hand.
No.
It has all 3 of your 2-drop payoffs. It's got a 0 power creature, and it's got a Mox Opal. Like, it's so good.
Yep.
So now the real question is, what are we casting on turn 2?
Well, it's gonna be easier.
A card that he doesn't Thoughtsaze away or Inquisition away.
Yes.
I imagine. The problem with the Overseer is that it puts counters on the Signal Pest, making it no longer a 0-power creature. That said, it's your only realistic way of getting a large clock on him very quickly, so I think you probably just run out the Overseer.
Yeah. In general, I would maybe you can speak to this. I would say that there are spots where it is worth keeping a 0-power creature around, but I don't think you can deviate from like general strategy here, which would basically to play the Overseer and get as much value out of it as possible. I would tend to rather rely on drawing or him milling Ancient Grudge or something along those lines, right? Rather than
Yeah, I mean, you can't say, well, I need to keep a 0-power creature around so that when he plays Bridge, I don't lose, if you're just going to give him 30 turns to draw and cast a Bridge because you're not doing any damage to him.
yes, more or less. Also, I find it highly irritating when people skip to their second main phase before they play their land.
Yeah, it's kind of
I,
weird.
I never understand why people do that, but
It's bizarre.
okay.
Well,
Well,
I think Needle is probably going to needle the Overseer, and then we've fixed the problem. And actually, it's much better that he needles Overseer for you, because now you have 2 Rabbit. Oh, no. He needles the Ravager. Never mind. Well.
alright. That's not the worst draw.
Yeah, play the Ink Moth, play the Ravager, animate the Ink Moth, and activate the Steel Overseer, I think.
Yep.
Pray that his hand doesn't have a way to put a Ensnaring Bridge into play next turn. Or that you can draw a... He doesn't have a Lantern or a Millrock yet, so... Even if he plays Bridge, well, it's kind of awful, but not the end of the world.
Yep. Alright, so I think he's representing Whir probably. He can Whir for 1 or 2?
He can Whir for 2, which is not enough to get a Bridge.
2. Right. So, yeah. Is there like do you see any point or any difference between casting and sandbagging the Springleaf Drum?
I think there's no point in casting it pre-combat. Post-combat, yes. I'd have to think through our deck list, but probably not. I think do the combat first and see what he does, because there's no lines that I can possibly see where it benefits us to have it pre-combat, yeah. And maybe for some reason it'll psych him out and he'll not be able to do.
Alright, so let's activate the Ink Moth.
Yeah, activate Ink Moth. Just in case, I suppose you can attack with everything except for the Overseer first, and then activate after you've finished attacking. It would matter more if he could Whir. So, for a second, if he had a third artifact and could Whir for 3, you would definitely want to activate after declaring attacks, the Steel Overseer. Go ahead and pass the turn.
All right.
Because he would be able to Whir for the bridge, and in response, after he Whirs for the bridge, then you would be trying to attack. And if you had activated the Steel Overseer before attacks, then you would be blocked on doing it. And in this way, you are
So he's presumably getting another Pithing Needle and naming Inkmoth Nexus? No, he's getting a Lantern.
Yeah, I was pretty sure he was going for a Lantern.
Interesting. Okay.
This looks pretty bad, but he doesn't have a Millrock yet. Let's see if he has got a bridge. Okay, so he has a bridge, and then he's going to use the Whir to find a Millrock. Yeah,
Alright,
a turn too late.
yep. Do you want
Can't attack, can't attack, can't attack. All right.
to keep playing or?
Uh, let's see. Maybe. Cast the Blood Moon. Let's see if you can strand a something in his hand. So he's gonna whir and get a mill rock, and if it's a Pixis that he gets, then we're pretty much done. It's a Codex Shredder.
Yep.
So in theory, we could draw a after the Master of Ethereum could be a Ancient Grudge. So we're not quite dead yet, because even if he mills the Ancient Grudge, then we can still grudge the bridge and get there.
Alright, so I just activate Overseer here, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think so. I think you don't have a path to like making the Ornithopter ever kill him, and
yep.
so it's better to make sure that you've got lethal. Well, actually, you're gonna. I don't think it matters one way or the other, to be honest.
Alright, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, let's cast Master and Pass, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I shouldn't have tapped the. Well, I mean, again, I shouldn't have tapped the Mox Opal, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, he's got a Nature's Claim.
Nature's Claim is actually not super relevant on this board. I mean, he can claim the Blood Moon, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
There's another Pithing Needle. Yeah, just keep adding steel overs to your counters, I think.
Alright,
there we go. We got the Grudge. So now he has to shuffle our library with Lantern of Insight. Because if he just mills the Grudge, he just dies.
Yep.
Oh, you know, it'd be really funny if he lets us draw the Grudge, and Nature's Claims our Mox Opal to try to keep us off green. Oh, Whir of Invention.
Yep.
Oh, he's getting back Whir, and then he's going to Whir for Pixis, and then kill us with that.
Alright,
yeah.
let's see. Let's just see what he does. Okay.
Well, we got one more shot. If our second Ancient Grudge is on the top of the library, then we're in business.
Yep. Might as well not give him the choice, I guess. Yep. Any name's cranial plating. Alright.
Oh, he's just getting another bridge? No, he's got.
Oh, we got the.
He got Pixis.
You got the. Alright.
No, we have a draw step. Alright. Now we don't. Yeah.
Alright.
We're done.
Whatever. Alright. Well. Okay. Yeah, matchup isn't great.
Yeah. Go for the next match.